We play and call it work.
Hey there, Wargamers. Josh here to bring in this week's Sit and Talk, the show where I sit and talk, answer all of your questions. So first things first, big apologies that the show's been kind of not coming out the past couple weeks. Things have been incredibly busy, and unfortunately, the times I've tried to schedule for myself to sit down and do this weren't available. All of a sudden, other things came up. But we are back here to give you this week's Sit and Talk. Now, next week is going to be Luca. So you got to make sure that you address him in some way in the comment section of this video and ask whatever questions you want. Now, one thing that I'm going to ask you to do for Luca, because usually we do something kind of fun, silly, Luca, or whatever other kind of funny things. Instead, I ask this time, pay Luca a compliment to get started. Whatever nice things you want to say about Luca, and then ask your question after that. So make sure you pay him a nice compliment. Whatever kind of compliment you want to give him, but tell Luca what you like about Luca. And yeah, let's just jump right into the questions that I kind of read 3 weeks ago and don't remember at all. All right, we got Joshua PM 2. What happened to Joshua PM 1? Oh, great, Bearded One, Josh. You've been put in charge of the custodies. What would you like to see in the new Codex? Personally, I'd like to see more vehicle options and a chance to bring in some cool new models based on their artwork back catalog. For example, Cyber Lion mounted units. Yeah, I think, I'm not going to get super in-depth this one because I've talked about it a bunch. I'd like to see some Custodes plastic vehicle kits available. Whether it be the Forge World stuff moving to plastic, like the stuff that already exists, because I think they're cool, flavorful, interesting vehicles instead of just, here's a Land Raider, spray gold. So I'd like to see some Custodes unique vehicle options. I think that would be super duper neat. And I mean, that's it. I mean, there's nothing too specific I could think of. Beyond that would work. And honestly, for the Custodians, I'd like to see, like, more than anything else, I think I'd like to see an expansion on the Sisters of Silence for them to get some more interesting rules and units and options, I guess. Because that's a little bit lackluster in the current Codex, in my opinion. Next up, we got Tubesteak 2000. After hearing Matthew answer the question about quality control, I had to comment and tell you I think your quality is great. Quick and dirty, as he put it, is working great in my opinion. Watching your videos seems like I'm in the room hanging out with friends, so that's a great vibe you're putting off. Could you go through each person's roles and responsibilities on the team? Sorry for the long question. Yeah, I mean, like, for me, because everybody enjoys different types of content. I'm pretty darn happy with where Mini Wargaming's at. For the most part, there's things that we could do better as far as audio and that, but the general feeling and vibe of, like, hey, you're just here watching a game, hanging out with people playing the game. That's the type of content I enjoy consuming, as opposed to the more polished stuff that certain other channels do. Different people like different stuff, so I'm glad you enjoy the way that we do things here. Okay, so let's go through each person's roles and responsibilities on the team. And this is all kind of, don't take this as gospel, I guess, because these things kind of always change. So Aaron handles all of the customer support emails. Aaron's also in charge of posting the content once it's been uploaded. And then Aaron's also in charge of magnets and merchandise. And that kind of encapsulates Aaron's role. Brandon, who's the new editor, is, in charge of editing the videos, as well as, creating some of the thumbnails, doing some animation stuff. So yeah, he's the kind of the main video editor person, as well as he has a background in cameras. So we lean on him for that kind of stuff a little bit. Excuse me. Steve and Luca are both content producers, and that's kind of what their role is. They can jump into other responsibilities when necessary, but like on a day-to-day basis, their job is to produce content. And then you've got Matt and Dave are the owners. So Matt usually, besides creating content, He handles a lot of the numbers and logistics side of the business, as well as like the web development kind of side of it. Dave, in addition to producing content, would handle a lot of the social media stuff, as well as things like the immersive campaigns we are doing with guests, which are coming back soon enough. And then some of the more creative stuff, so thumbnails and, like I said, the social media side of stuff takes care of all that. I do everything else. So right now, I basically jump into wherever needs to get taken care of. So content production sometimes, but beyond that, I handle all of the scheduling of everybody and what they're doing each day. As well as ensuring that we have enough content to go out as is appropriate. And then doing my best to troubleshoot when there's sick calls or there's editing issues or, somebody deletes footage by mistake. We don't have anything to put out. I'm the one that kind of problem solves that. Like I said, I handle all the communications with guests coming in, and that's both for filming bat reps and for staying over at the bunker. And then kind of everything else that needs to get done. So a lot of the times I'm the one ordering equipment. If something breaks or is not working properly, I'm the one that goes and takes care of it. I oversee the majority of the building stuff. So like staying up to fire code and all of everything that encompasses that. Yeah, I guess that's me in a nutshell. There's a whole bunch of different things. There's probably like 10 different things that I'm not thinking about because it's kind of just, I don't even think about the fact that I'm doing them, or they come up not super often, like not even on a weekly basis. That gives you a basic sense of how the company functions right now. And then Rob is, I don't get to see Rob as much, so I don't, bring him up. He didn't like pop into my mind because I went through where everybody was sitting and talked about it that way. So Rob is our relief editor. He used to be a full-time editor. He's got another full-time gig, but sometimes he does help out with some of the editing if the timing makes sense. And then you've got Cullen, who comes in to film bat rep. So Cullen's a very, very part-time content producer right now. Ludo, Josh, what Codex and Battletome are you most looking forward to, and what is your favorite model? Okay, I'm going to pick, because favorite model is kind of open-ended, so I'm going to talk about my favorite sculpt, and it's the first one that pops into my head, and it is the Games Workshop Commissar, one arm behind his back, the other arm with the outstretched aiming a bolt pistol. It's probably my go-to favorite. I just really like the pose and kind of the whole feeling of that model, that sculpt. What Codex and Battletome are you most looking forward to? I'm back and forth. So right now, I think the Codex I'd be most excited for is, I think it's the Guard, the Imperial Guard. I'm back and forth between that and the Custodians, but also I'm very excited for the Knights. But generally, I think, if I was given the option to hey, what Codex is next, I want to see the Guard. I'm super excited to see what they do with them. They've done some interesting things with the other 9th edition books. What Battletome am I most looking forward to? I don't know. I'm pretty happy with what I have right now. At this point, I think the Sons of Bahamut are getting a White Dwarf update, so I don't expect to see another update for them proper, and I haven't had the chance to look at it yet. See, a lot of the Battletomes, there's kind of new, different stuff. So there's no currently existing Battletome that I'm I'm really itching to see what they do with this one next. In the same way that I'm super excited to see what they do with the Guard Codex. KO. Actually, yeah. Again, if I had to pick one, they're what Battletome do we do next? It's the Overlords. I want to see what they do to tweak them a little bit. We got Ed, 1989. Hello, fellow toaster enthusiast. Hope you're well. I am pretty well. There's a question mark there, so I'm answering that one. I'm feeling well. Generally, good spirits, a little bit burnt out, but happy to be burnt out because there's a lot going on, and it's not just, super sad, COVID, nothing's happening. It's nice to see that, there's some light at the end of the tunnel, it feels like. How do you feel about the AdMech FAQ? Haven't played with the latest FAQ. I don't know. It all makes sense, though. Everything I read, yeah. I feel like it's all pretty common sense stuff, and I'm kind of amazed that it wasn't already that way. But teach their own. P.S. I started my own crusade with AdMech and a bunch of buddies. Haha. Well, hopefully you're enjoying it. I think the crusade system's a lot of fun to play. It's a neat little system that they've created there. We got Unleashed LV. Hey Josh, I forgot to ask Matt before his last sit and talk if you'd ever do a Grey Knights campaign. Could you potentially ask him for me, please? Also, pass on my congratulations on the upcoming addition to the family. Yes, he has a very cute little baby at home. Obviously, I guess you left this 3 weeks ago, so that kind of makes sense that, yeah. As far as the Grey Knights campaign, pretty simple here for how we handle campaigns. Whoever is the most excited to do a campaign does the next campaign, and they do whatever factions they're excited for. Luca's the closest thing we have to a Grey Knights player. He's starting to dabble in them. So it might get to the point that, he's interested in doing a campaign with them and has the opportunity to. But there's a couple other already lined up right now. So, there's always the potential for it. So, yeah. If one of the fellows that runs the campaign, so usually Matt or Dave, but also now Scary, if any of them are super excited and Grey Knights make sense, then Luca would probably be the one playing. And if Luca gets to the point that he's like, I really want to do a Grey Knights campaign, then we'll find time for that too. But I don't think they're as popular as other ones, and so they're not as high on the priority scale. All right, we got Mentality. Josh, my great lord. Do you think Forge World units have good balance with normal 40k units? I know anything can still be fun as long as you discuss with your opponent, but, you just said but. I say but all the time. I mean more nuts and bolts. If you compare stats and abilities to points and then the normal unit just seems out of sync to me. What about you? And if imbalanced, why would they make them that way instead of making them fit better? Okay, I don't really have... I can make some assumptions. Generally speaking, it doesn't seem to make a lot of sense. Sometimes they just... I wouldn't say overpowered or underpowered. Generally, probably a little bit underpowered, but not to a point that you don't bring them. If you're a super hardcore tournament player, I don't know. At a very basic level, you're already playing the game in the way that I don't like it to play, so I can't really comment on that. But yeah, there's no Forge World unit where it's like, I just wouldn't take that because it's so awful. Like, if it's cool, make the rules work. Just play better, and that can make up for the weaknesses in the unit. But generally, I feel like they just don't... Okay, let me put it this way. I feel like it's obvious, and I might be completely incorrect, but it feels very obvious that a different team wrote those rules. They're pretty darn close. They're usable, but it doesn't taste quite the same. You know what I mean? I don't know how to describe it. It's like when somebody cooks a dish. Grandma cooks lasagna. Okay, good, and this is the lasagna I like. You go to somebody else's house and their grandma cooks the lasagna. It's a good lasagna, but something's different about it. You can't really put your finger on it, but something's definitely different. I don't know, it's like that. It's a bad analogy, but that's the one I'm sticking with. It's just, you can tell it's different. Even if they follow the same recipe, something doesn't make sense. All right, next up we got Basher the Second. What happened to Basher the First? Hi Josh, with some of the more recent Codex releases, Drakari, AdMech, and to a certain degree Orcs, power seems to have skyrocketed. Do you think all future Codexes will be around this level, or will things calm back down a bit? On another note, I'd be really interested in seeing some high competitive tournament style games from you guys. Who would be most likely to play in these? And is this something they would be interested in? Okay. The power scale, I don't know. I don't feel like it's anything new from G-Dub that there's the power creep, that generally speaking, every Codex is better than the last one. And then there's a couple duds thrown in there every once in a while. So I don't really know. the whole 9th edition journey has been kind of wild thus far, and we'll see. I know they got a whole playtest team and all that, but it feels, and this might be completely incorrect, but again, I'm talking about feeling, it feels like they put a codex out knowing full well that it's busted and not working the way it should, and then they put up the FAQ that probably was written before the codex came out, a couple weeks or a month later. So it's weird. And that's where I tend not to take codexes very seriously until they've been out for a couple months and you see them actually be like, oh, well, okay, yeah, this is how they're actually meant to play. But maybe that's just me and the way that I have experienced the codexes thus far. As far as high competitive tournament style games, the two people that hang out here the most that you probably see that from would be Luca and or Scary. Luca really likes a tight competitive game. I like a game with more of a narrative, fluffy kind of feel. Not saying that I don't try to win, but you know what I mean? I don't want to build the most optimal list because I find that pretty boring sometimes, most of the time. And then maybe Steve to a degree. But I'd say, yeah, if I had to pick two people randomly, be like, you guys are doing a tournament-style competitive game, it would be Scary and Luca. Scary's not an actual employee, but he's working with us. So wrap your head around that one. Next we got Byzantine 01. Okay, finally we got a 01. Greetings, Josh, Praetorian of Terra. Would love to get an update on your Imperial Fist for Horus Heresy. What do you have done and what is still getting painted? And that interesting choice of yellow. My aggressive yellow. I love it. And for follow-up, next Heresy game you play, can you please bring Rogaldorn himself? Would love to see him in action instead of just on your shelf. From your friendly neighborhood Ultramarines player, Courage and Honor. Yeah, so right now, okay, so you've seen, if you've watched the videos, you've seen the stuff I have. The rest of the stuff, I believe, is complete. I just need to get it to me. So there should be about 20 Breachers, about 30 Wardens, like an 8 or something man squad of Templar Brethren. There is also another Rhino or two, if memory serves correct. There's a Predator. There's one of those new rocket launchy tanks. There is a Lightning Primaris strike fighter. There is one of the old, I think it's a Castaferum they call them, one of the old box dreadnoughts. I think that's it. I think that's the stuff I'm waiting on. But I might be entirely wrong. And then I also still have my Spartan that's left over and a pair of Basilisks that you wouldn't have seen very often. So, yeah, I just got to get them to me, get a game with them, and then get it on the channel. I don't know when that's going to happen, but there's already a couple people that have booked games for the future. So you will see them. I just don't know exactly when. Because I wouldn't mind practicing a couple times with them off camera first. But also, I play for fun, so I don't mind doing it on camera, and we can learn from my mistakes together. But yeah, I'm super excited for them. I'm a little bit obsessed. I really like the color yellow. I just do. And that color yellow. I don't like the orangey yellow very much. Bright yellow. It's the color of my car. I bought a car, I like that color so much. Because I didn't intend to buy that car. And some people know the story, but yeah, long story short, I went to go buy a reasonable little 4-door family style car, and then I don't know, they had a bright yellow Camaro, so I bought that instead. And yeah, I like that color. Okay, Tubesteak 2000. Hey there, big fan of all your videos on all games. Good, you should be. I'm the best. That being said, would you be open to playing some Epic 40K? I used to play Tyranids back in the day, thought it was cool. It was a different play style to my original Fantasy Chaos Army. Keep up the great work, guys. Yeah, I mean, so for all these other little games, I'm down to play whatever, but as far as being able to cover it on the channel, it has to kind of make sense. And the two big barriers for that kind of stuff is that we need painted armies, and we need to know how to play already. We might not have to be great at it, but we'd have to kind of know how to play. So the only way that would happen is if somebody who I who has already been here, because there's plenty of great guests out there that end up being fine, but generally, unless it's something very, like, when you're booking to come in as a guest for the first time, it's going to be something basic. I'm not going to make overly intricate plans with a person that I haven't met and figured out how they function. You know what I mean? Because a lot of people dream really big, and we've done this in the past with people, and that all kind of falls through because, you know, there's other things they haven't considered. So it would take a person that's come in to film before to bring in a pair of painted armies and know how to play them. And I would probably take a full day to play some test games and learn the basics of it so I could properly announce it as I'm playing, and then film a game. So the likelihood of it happening pretty low, but I mean, like, if that guest is out there, there's the potential for it. But, you know, we'd put you through the ringer of doing some, you know, 40K or AOS type bat reps first to get you used to the filming process. So keep that in mind. That hopefully covers that. We got G Griffey 87. Josh, before you climb back into your administrative golden throne, do you have any parting words for your gruntled audience? Big thanks to you and all the MWG crews. Yeah, my schedule's become incredibly up in the air. Because I'm not going to say busy, because I feel like I'm always fairly busy, because even if I am not happening to be busy, like, I will find a way to make sure I'm busy, because I get bored really quickly, and then my productivity so I make sure, you know, I've got stuff on the go. But yeah, so right now there's a lot more stuff that is naturally going to keep me busy. Hopefully I'm still in bat reps every once in a while. I'm going to hopefully maintain filming at least once a week, maybe twice a week. But the idea is I'll be moving to more of an administrative role again, as well as covering for people. So you know what I mean? Like, I want to do everything in my power to make sure that there's not a time where somebody comes in to play a bat rep and the person I had assigned to play them is sick and I have to go, ooh, sorry. So the amount of scheduled days I have will be kind of low, probably, but who knows? We'll see how this all kind of works out as we go along. So do I have any parting words? I am the best. We all know I'm the best, and I know you will miss me. There you go. Yeah, get that on a plaque somewhere. Tyrannid Fan 9. What happened to the other 8 of you? Hello, Josh, the Great Bearded One. I would like to know, what is the hardest time you've had to explain to someone what your job at Mini Wargaming is? Have you ever met someone who just didn't get it or had a hard time understanding even after many explanations? As far as like what I actually do, it hasn't been overly difficult to explain to people. But as far as like how this is a real job, that can be a tough explanation. So the one that pops to mind would be my father. When I started working for Mini Wargaming, this is a very non-traditional job, and he works as a correctional officer and does instructing for them and all this now. He's not a regular CO anymore, and I guess he hasn't been for a long time. But anyways, I digress. So it was in the first month, I think, or 2 months, 3 months, whatever. The first little while working at Mini Wargaming, and we were grabbing a beer, and he kind of asked me how it was going. I said, oh, it's good. It's good. And he says, okay. And again, he doesn't know anything about any of this nerd stuff, right? Like, zero interest and understanding from him on any of this stuff. But big time sports guy. So he said, okay, yeah, have you been winning a lot lately? And I'm like, nah, I'm kind of on a cold streak. And he's like, oh, okay. So how's money? Like, how's everything, money coming in? And I'm like, yeah, money's fine. Okay, cool. Then we kind of talked about a bunch of different stuff, and he circled back to that, like, okay, so you sure money is not like super tight and everything's okay right now? And I'm like, yeah, why do you keep asking? Like, do I look especially disheveled today? And he said, well, no, you said you've been losing your game, so I know you're probably not making as much. I'm going, kind of went, well, I mean, that's not how that works. And he says, okay, well, you only get paid if you win though, right? I'm like, no. He goes, oh, okay, so it's just you get a bonus if you win. I'm like, no, I get paid hourly. It's more of an entertaining thing. I got to make entertaining videos. It doesn't matter if I win or lose. I said, ultimately, like, I shouldn't, you know, if I'm winning all the time or losing all the time, I'm probably less entertaining. So, and he just did not click in his brain at all that that's how that would function. So that's probably the most difficult time I've had explaining the overall structure of what I do. I got buddies too that, you know, people I worked with when I worked at Canadian Tire and all that before, who I think there's a degree of jealousy and not fully comprehending kind of what's going on. It's just, you know, I got one buddy of mine, Jacob, who doesn't know anything about this stuff, but he keeps running into people who know who I am. Because he found it hilarious. He's like, there's no way that you're going to make a living out of this. And then obviously I have. So now if anybody mentions anything kind of nerdy, he's like, do you know what Warhammer is? Do you know what mini wargaming is? Do you know who Josh is? I know Josh. Do you know Josh? It's kind of funny because then I get like a call or a text from him on the regular of him being like, somebody else knows who you are. And I'm like, well, yes, in a very small circle of people, I'm fairly well known. But yeah, nothing really, nobody, it's too difficult to explain to. We got Entropy 1. Hi, Josh. I recently decided to take the plunge and purchase a Warhammer Fantasy Battle Army. I decided to go with Wood Elves as I felt they were uncommon. However, now I find they are uncommon because they don't seem that strong. Most successful armies are difficult to use. Any tips on making them successful? Not for me. Not complaining, just want to have fun and enjoyable games, and hopefully we get to see more of them in the future. Yeah, actually, at the time of filming this, the videos might have went out. Kenny borrowed them a couple times to play them. I've been too busy with other stuff to film Fantasy, because Fantasy is one of the games that it's easy for the guys to get multiple games in a day. So I've been covering a lot of other stuff. So the closest thing I could have to a tip, and I might be entirely wrong, is that with the Wood Elves, you've got to look at the scenario. You're not there just to fight your opponent. You got to figure out what the scenario is. So most of them, it involves, you know, killing the enemy and kill just enough of them to win, and then just avoid them for the rest of the game. You know what I mean? It's a different play style. It's very kind of hit and run mobility. I think one thing, and this is an opinion, I might be wrong, is that some newer people look at the Wood Elves as a shooting army, and they're not. You will get outshot by a proper, you know, Dwarven or Empire shooting army. They are a mobility army that also is good at shooting. So you got to keep moving, and you cannot take a hit, but you have the mobility to make sure you don't take hits. So you kind of, for the most part, don't have the devastating, you know, ability to wipe out units really quick, but you can pick away at them and make sure they can't hit you back. So, you know, float like a butterfly, sting like a bee kind of play style, I guess. You know, you can't just go in and demolish somebody off the board. But definitely a super finesse army. If you're playing Wood Elves and you're playing Wood Elves well, you have to have a very good understanding of the movement phase compared to some of the other armies, which are more straightforward. All right, we got just Hammer. I don't know why I like this name so much. Hammer. Hi Josh, love all the great content. It keeps me going each week. Where do you get the music played in the background of your battle reports? I think it works really well and adds to the atmosphere. That's honestly, I don't know. There's a couple different places that they get it from, and if you look, I want to say, I can't remember if we credit it at the end or beginning of videos or if it's in the comment section, but it's a lot of the royalty-free kind of stuff. Honestly, I feel kind of bad not being able to give shout-outs to the right people on that one, just because of the fact I never am the one doing the editing or coming across any of that, but do a little bit of digging, and you'll see where the music is from. Okay, Dave Byrne, Dear Joshathan, Knight Castellan of Ontaricus. Sounds like a lame place. Hope your month of August is going well so far, Big Cheddar. I'm a longtime Tau player for my sins, and I can safely say the little blue fishmen break my heart every game I play against my buddies with their fancy, codices. Gotta curse whoever designed the new Abmech book, Codex, every day. Yep. Despite them crushing my dreams and bringing me to the edge of despair, I still love them and pray for some nice changes in their next codex. I know you aren't a Tau player, but you probably know how bad they are right now. I've heard. I haven't had a chance to play against them properly a whole lot, against some competent people. But what kind of change do you think they need to see them rise back as contenders with the new meta of 9th edition? Your shield brother, Davicus the Wise. Okay, so the thing is, and I mean, like, I wish I could give you a better answer because it's always the same kind of lame answer. With the 9th edition codex design, I don't fully understand it the same way I have with previous ones. So I don't know. They got to have some weird gimmicks, and I don't know what those gimmicks are going to be. Yeah, I have nothing properly clever on how to make them good and what needs to change. Because I mean, it's going to be point adjustments, and then I don't know, a bunch of weird stratagems that allow you to break the core rules of the game is what everything seems to kind of come down to. Is it's all stratagem based now. So yeah, just efficient for points units that have access to good stratagems that allow you to achieve your secondaries. It's weird. There's nothing specific I can think of. Because they have to have some kind of a weakness, which is they're not great in close combat. But then again, you can't just be like, oh, we'll make them okay in close combat, because that doesn't work. There has to be some kind of weakness built in, and there has to be some ways to help mitigate that they use stratagems or things like that. So honestly, I don't know, little blue fishman. That's why I said, like, when I named my codexes off, like the custodians, the knights, and the guard, I'm really curious to see what they do with all three of them to bring them into 9th edition. Generally speaking, all the different codexes that I've played with and against that are newer codexes, I'm like, yeah, this feels okay. It feels like a 9th edition version of them. Except for Deathwatch is the only one where I'm like, I don't know. It just it feels like they took the heart and soul of the army, and I can't even pinpoint like how or why. I find it super boring, that book. But generally, yeah, I have no idea what they're gonna do. They just gotta 9th edition eyes it somehow. But yeah, smaller tables and I don't know. I used to play Tau way back in 4th edition, but obviously things have changed a lot since then. We got our Shiha. Hey Josh, you're great. This has been my TED Talk. Thanks for listening. Well, you know what? You're great too. Meg Logan. Dear Josh, how much Josh would a Josh wash of a Josh wash sauce dosh Josh? I grew up with a speech impediment. Don't make me say this kind of stuff. A lot. Nothing clever. I have nothing clever to think of. You put me on the spot, and I failed you. I think I said it mostly correct. Can I say it quickly one time? Dear Josh, how much Josh would a Josh wash of a Josh wash sauce dosh Josh? That was pretty good. I got through that okay, I think. I hope. Just my mic cuts out during that. Hey Josh, hope all's going well. This is from the KT. I've got a tournament coming up at the end of the month. I want to bring my custodians. We usually run 1,000 to 1,500 points. I'm worried that I'll inadvertently be that guy if I bring them to a smaller point game. Am I worrying about nothing, or should I bring a different army? Thanks, and keep up the great work. P.S. It's more of a friendly tournament if that changes anything. No, okay. For me, unless it's specifically stated, because so if you're asking this, like if you play them and your buddies are like, I just hate playing against them, then you're being that guy. Being that guy isn't what you bring, it's how you bring it, is my opinion. So you can bring the filthiest, most powerful tournament list to crush your buddies and play it with a good, friendly attitude. And in my opinion, you're not that guy. If you find a way to make the game enjoyable for your opponent, even despite potentially crushing them, then you're not being that guy. That's okay. But you could bring kind of a mediocre list and be a big pain in the butt, being super nitpicky, not doing a good job of explaining things to your opponent, kind of purposefully explaining them poorly to your advantage, just being a poor sport. So, if you think that bringing that army would mean that your opponents wouldn't have a good time, then you're being that guy. If it's a friendly tournament, don't do that. But if you think you can play that army competently, effectively, and still make sure your opponents have a good time, then you're not being that guy. And that's kind of what it comes down to. And that's where I tend not to worry about the stuff that I play as far as composition. Usually talk to my opponent before the game. Like, is there anything you really want to, what do you want to show off? What do you want to avoid? That kind of things. Make sure I get a sense of what they're trying to accomplish. And then, I don't be a jerk. And generally, if you and your opponent both have a good time, regardless of the outcome of the game, I kind of don't care about other people's opinions of whether that's a good game, a bad game, or you're being that guy, you're not. It's between you and your opponent. So that's what you got to figure out, is if you can play that and knowing your buddies, if this is a local tournament, knowing the kind of thing that they're going for and the vibe they're going for, not a big deal. But if you come in with the attitude of, I'm going to crush everybody, and I'm going to make sure, the winning is the most important goal for me, and I don't care about anybody else and if they have a good time or not, it doesn't matter what list you bring, you're being a jerk. That's my 2 cents on it anyways. We got GBC343. Hey Josh, now that you are probably pretty well versed in AOS 3rd edition. What is your favorite army now in the new edition? Still Sons of Behemoth? Generally speaking, I like the Sons because I really like the models. I like the rules, and generally speaking, they're easy to play and film. So part of my enjoyment for armies, for certain armies, is that if they just kind of feel right, and the Giants, I think, do. Their play style fits how I imagine they would be running around doing stuff, and I can play them in a way that's fun and makes use of their rules, and they're easy to film with. So that means if I, wake up at 7:30 in the morning, get a text saying somebody's sick, I need you to cover AOS. Cool. I can play the Giants without really having to mentally prepare myself. You can figure out a list quick. They are quick to film if I'm holding the camera because you're playing with one hand. So, you're not giant hordes of little guys you're moving along. And then usually if I'm covering like that, then I'm getting interrupted throughout the day to deal with the day-to-day stuff here at Mini Wargaming. So it's easy to jump in and out of the game because there's not a bunch of little buffs you have to remember. And whenever I take a break, usually what I'll do is I'll just cover the camera and state where I'm at, and then come back to it and listen, because it might be 5 minutes, it might be an hour before I can get playing again. So with them, there's a lot less little things I need to remember of did I cast that spell, or was that buff there? It's just the flow is nice and simple, and you can jump in and out of the game easily, or at least I can. So yeah, I think overall the Suns are nice because they check all the boxes for me. I still really like Ogres, still have a ton of fun with Ogres and Beast Claws. Nurgle's a lot of fun, but Nurgle I'll typically only play on a day that I'm already scheduled to be playing, and I know there will be minimal interruptions because there's a lot more synergies going on, so there's a lot more for me to miss when I get pulled away, as I inevitably do. Hopefully that answers that. The laser rats have been a lot of fun to play, but there's kind of the same. There's a lot going on and a lot of little things to remember. We got Denther. Hi Josh, hope you are well. I am fairly well. I'm pretty good. Posted the following for Matthew, however, I posted too late, so he didn't answer. I was just wondering, as I joined after lockdown, was Vito a Mini Wargaming staff member before? Yes. Seen him in Dave's Resident Evil campaign, started watching Necromunda campaign you two did. He's great. Will be back in the future once things get a little bit more normal again? Maybe, I don't know. I saw him today for the first time in a while. He was dropping off minis that he painted. So as far as in filming again, I don't know. Depends on what his schedule looks like, depends on what our schedule looks like, and what he's looking to do. He's certainly welcome to come back and hang out and film. But he's a busy dude that lives, I don't know, an hour and a half away or something like that now. So I don't know. You can also probably get in touch with him. He's got his own channel and all that. The Trident and True Hobbies, I think is what it is. You'll be able to find him if you search around online. But yeah, he's commission painting now. And then I know he's got another job on top of that. All right. We got Large Michael, Josh, and Molder designer, Raccoon breeder Cullen, our new video editor. You'll get a little bit of Brandon, but not here. Assuming you managed to get Brandon, sorry if I spelled his name wrong, just sit in 3 questions. What is his name? His name is Brandon. What is your quest? What is the flight speed of an unladen swallow, African or European? Your choice. I didn't get that, but I'll try to get that for you. Maybe next time. Any new and upcoming projects you're excited to talk about? Because I got them in a different clip, but I didn't see this one. I got myself a BFG fleet added to the pile of shame. Heresy Train has no brakes. What did you get for BFG now? Like, how you got so many things. Finish them. Get them done. What are you playing for BFG now? So yeah, some of the stuff that I have going on, like obviously I'm excited to get the Fist back. I'm expanding out on my bolt action Americans. I really want to start another bolt action army, but like that's dumb for me to do it, and I don't have the time or money to right now, but like I kind of want to. And then I also have the starter set for Victory at Sea, the Warlord games, World War II game, naval combat. I got that, the starter set getting painted up, and if I like it, which I know I will, I'll expand out on some fleets there because I like boats. Yeah, so that's what I got going on. Obligatory bonus question, comment, how is Dozer? I live for the monthly doggo updates. Dozer's well. Dozer's good. You know, we've got more and more of his personality starting to come out. Weird little health issues, like he had a really bad infection on his chin for a while there, so he was on meds for that for a while, and that's now cleared up, which is good. We're doing a lot of training with him. So for those unfamiliar, I believe it was last September, I had to put my dog Matilda down. She was an English Mastiff. We had her for it was like 12 years. And we had her from a puppy. She lived quite long and was very healthy for Mastiffs. So when we put her down in September, that put me into I think it was September, that put me into kind of a pretty bad spiral for a while. And eventually we adopted Dozer, who is some weird looking mutt. We think he's a cross between a Shar-Pei and a boxer. And we're pretty set on that's what we think he is. So we adopted him from the local pound. He's about 3, kind of a sad history, and so we're working with him. He's about 80 pounds of just big, lovable dummy. Very affectionate dog. We're still getting him used to meeting other people and not playing rough with them, and just learning to socialize a lot more. So yeah, doing a lot of training with him that's going well. But it's the first time I'm working with training a dog that I haven't had since it was a puppy. But good. Dozer is doing good. He doesn't want to play fetch or anything like that. He doesn't play. So I don't think the family that had him before ever played with him. Or at least from what I've seen. Doesn't do tug of war, doesn't do anything, but he very much likes trying to catch bugs. So like little spider running across the ground, or there's a fly flying around, like that is his thing, which is super adorable. I'd love to have him in here more, but he's got to get a little bit better on manners and then figuring out the logistics, because we have people on staff that are allergic to dogs. But yeah, he's a good boy. He's a very good boy. And then last one here from Big Mikey. Oh, and Square Base is confirmed. Yes. Warhammer Fantasy Full Steam Ahead Baby, or whatever it's called, given that they said it's 400-ish years before the current fantasy timeline. Any hopes, or just ignore it all until it's actually released? Not even on my radar. I don't want to say couldn't care less right now, but yeah, I've had so many things that are currently happening I'm excited for, and they're all mostly revolving around Warlord games. And their different game systems that, yeah, it's not on my radar. It'll be cool. It'll be cool when it comes out. I'll pay attention to it, and I'll probably play it a bunch and enjoy it. But right now, I'm pretty heavily focused on Warlord stuff. So figuring out the logistics of getting some interesting different content on the channel. And I say, you know, like I like the historically inspired content. I'm not interested in recreating specific battles or this and that. I'm not a rivet counter when it comes to the historical stuff, but some historically inspired games I'm very interested in. So hopefully I can figure out the logistics of all of that in the next little while. All right. We got Voltec. At Josh, if you could add one of the following new armies to the Age of Sigmar line, which would it be? 1. Order, Halflings, focused on debuffs to hit, carts that carry units like ships work for the KO. Okay. Destruction, Bretonnians. That's not where they would go, they'd be Order. But way tilted into the religious extremism, similar to the Menoth of War Machine. Wanter to convert or destroy all others. Okay, maybe. I'd like to see a revamp of the Bretonnians. They're cool. The heavy cavalry kind of thing, which is probably going to be my answer. I haven't read the other ones. Death, Undead Ogres, inspired by the 2 Ogre bodyguards in Cursed City. So kind of the Mongolian steppe guard with the ability to fuel their powers from wounds inflicted on the enemy, perhaps. Yeah, not interested in undead armies. I hate how they play. Yeah, I haven't met a death player that I like, so not going to be Undead Ogres. 4, Chaos, the Norscan stuff of Slaves to Darkness in its own book can basically move Chaos Warriors, etc., all chaos that isn't Norsca to every individual god book. Kind of a long question, so I understand if it's not answered. I'm always going to answer it. You just might not get the answer you want. If I had to pick one of those, I'd want to see a revamp of the Bretonnians. I don't think they'd be under destruction. I think they'd still be under order. But yeah, I think that would be neat. I could get behind that because I think it would be a cool vibe and kind of look. And yeah, armored knights are always super interesting to me. We got Uncle Buck. Hey, Josh, how small of a battle would you feel comfortable taking a knight's list? I've been having a ton of fun building them in the local shop. Slow grow is about to jump to 750. I don't want to be that guy, but want to play with my toys. 3 knights and 4 armigers available. Mostly magnetized and 3D printed, enough bits to cover most all builds. Thanks a ton. So this is kind of like the question earlier. I don't know. If the people I'm playing with are cool, 750, sure. I play 750 knights. I think I have played 750 knights. It'd be fun, but I could see why some people would not have fun with that. So the hyper elite kind of builds, the little model count. It depends on the rest of the group. So, you know, the best thing is maybe talk to those guys and say, hey, you know, I'm thinking about jumping in at 750 with knights. What do you guys think? Any objections? But that would be the same with any army. Like, if I was playing, because the thing is, okay, so slow grow league, I assume, you know, lots of quick, nice little fast super games. Like if I was playing against somebody that, you know, was doing a swarm of Tyrannid Gaunts, you know, and just the cheapest, highest model count possible, I would probably be annoyed in a slow grow because I'm like, look, I don't got all day to play this game. Like you got too much stuff to move. If they were able to play it quickly, that's fine. So yeah, anything to an extreme, I don't think it's a big deal. You just gotta play it competently in a way that your opponents have a good time. Okay, because I think there's too much focus right now. And there always has been, I guess, on winning or losing. Guys, it doesn't matter. No, nobody cares. Nobody cares. You don't get paid more or less if you win or lose. Figure out what it takes to have fun and just do that. And figure out, you know, part of you having fun should be making sure your opponent has fun. And beyond that, nothing else matters. It doesn't matter winning, losing, whatever. Not a big deal, guys. Make sure people are having a good time. So, again, just talk to the group. And I don't think there's anything wrong with it. Personally, I wouldn't care. And if you have the people, you know, if the other people are like, I don't really, not what we're going for, that's fine. I don't have anything deeper than that. Then yeah, just talk, communicate with the people around you more. Because when you game, you sign a social contract with your opponent. And so you just have to figure out what kind of contract you're signing. War Boss Wazeg. Josh, if you'd be any type of machine, what would you be and how would we activate you? I would, of course, be a toaster. That would be voice activated, I guess, or sound activated. But it would only be, it would be smooth jazz would be the only way to get me to toast something. Didn't really think that one through. Don't know if it's a weird answer, but you were probably going for a weird answer, so good. Mylan, this is the one I did see. At Josh, does the new video editor know what is best in life? He's going to put the clip at the end of this video, so go to the end of the video and you'll see. AJ Ree 2010. Hey Josh, if you were able to pull back the curtain a little bit, how are the bolt action battle reports doing? As far as like engagement and all that, I think they're doing fantastic. We're starting to get a little bit of variety as far as guests go. I love them. It's probably the type of content I look forward to the most right now. I think it's fantastic. I think it's a good system that there's a lot we can do with. We're currently just doing them on YouTube. We tried the experiment to see what vault signups would look like. I feel like we got to build the audience and build a back catalog a little bit more before it becomes a proper, YouTube vault type setup like we've done with other stuff. But yeah, so expect about once a month. It's my favorite war game by a long shot, and it's really cool to see you guys branch out and give it some airtime. I also really enjoy the end of the match discussions you have after bolt action games. Your guys' enthusiasm for the game is so enjoyable to watch. Thanks, have a good one. Yeah, glad you're enjoying it. So the biggest thing that I'd want to see for bolt action is if you do truly enjoy it and you want to see more of it, continue to watch it. If you enjoy it enough that you want to go to the next step and maybe push a little bit more, the more views, comments, and likes that we get on the videos, the better off we are. If you're just finding our bolt action stuff right now, and you want to watch the one that we have in the vault, which I think is episode 3, you can go to episode 2, and this is important, okay? This is the catch. If you go to the episode that it's linked to on YouTube, use that link to sign up for the 7-day free trial. Go watch it. It's free. You get a 7-day free trial to watch the content. It's not going to take you 7 days to watch one bolt action battle report if that's all you're interested in, and then just cancel after. You know what I mean? Because when we look at the numbers, it's tough. We can get kind of a general sense of what people are watching. But the thing that I think, the owners notice more than anything else is whenever there's an abnormality in, the amount of comments, which we're crushing it on bolt action stuff because obviously Warlord's being so kind to help us with some giveaways. So the engagement's really good there. Not as many people liking. The thing is that it's always a bummer to see, you got thousands and thousands of views and 100 people gave you the thumbs up. If you like the video, just click. That's all you need to do. So that if we see an abnormal spike in that, we know something's up and we pay more attention. And then also the vault signups. And the way that we track vault signups is we can see the video, or we can see the link you used to get there and what video it was on. So it gives you a little bit of a sense of what I'm trying to do as far as, get it out there more. And the same, like if you got buddies that like bolt action or you think might like it, tell them, go watch it. If you like it, give them a thumbs up. If you really, really like it, watch the other ones too. And the more eyes on, the more oomph I have when I try to push for more of it on the channel. So there you go. There's that. The shameless plug to get more of the game that I am currently having the most fun playing on the channel. Mentality. Oh, mighty, great, and powerful Lord. Hi, I like your hat. Thank you. You didn't even know which hat I was going to wear today. Still waiting on the Ruger sponsorship, by the way. Ruger, get on that. They're not going to, by the way. Do you ever have one of those slouchy socks? The kind that somehow gets, that seems to get sucked to the tip of your shoe? Definitely a personal pet peeve of mine. Honestly, I wear flip-flops more than anything else. Before I was selling firearms at Canadian Tire, I worked as a lifeguard for 7 or 8 years, so I got used to wearing flip-flops basically in all weather conditions all the time, and that's kind of stuck with me. So no, I don't typically have the sock issue. I don't typically have that sock issue. I wear socks with stuff sometimes, but it's not that weird. There's at least once or twice a year that I shovel my driveway in my flip-flops if the snow's not that bad. More, yeah. A lot. I wear a lot of flip-flops. I don't wear a lot of socks. So no, I don't have that issue. Because even the times I do, I don't. We got Pellinor. Hey Josh, hope you are well. I am well. I guess it was forever since I guess you guys have been waiting for me to do this. So yeah, I didn't die. I'm still here. I'm just really busy. With the talk of the old world being brought back, would you go straight back to the fat guys, ogres, or do you fancy something with a little finesse? I would play probably the ogres and the wood elves, the two things I currently own. The thing is, the ogres are probably the most complained about thing here, because everybody bellyaches about the ogres here, and that just I receive sustenance from that. It makes me feel good when people complain and say, this army shouldn't exist in fantasy. This army, ruins this. This is just bad, or whatever complaints. It just makes me stronger. Yeah, I like them. Ogres are good. Ogres are cool. Play more ogres. Next up, we got Herdy One. Hey Josh, I was wondering what would be your thoughts if they made an Emperor class Titan model for Adeptus Titanicus? What kind of rules would you like such a model to have? Thank you for answering my question. Okay. I would love it because it'd be a super cool looking model. As far as the rules, I don't know. It's more of what currently already exists, and I guess that's what I'm looking for. Is that Titanicus I really like because it's a fairly low model count and low option count, if that makes sense. Game, like there's not that many different things you can bring. So the biggest hope, I don't I should do this or that. Doesn't, no, because whatever I really like the way that they've written the rules. It feels good. It feels proper. So I would have no concern there. And it's just one of those, I hope they don't jump the shark at any point. And it's cool, you guys ruined the game by making, this just way too good, way too bad, just break all the rules, whatever. I just wanted to fit the vibe of everything else and just slowly and continually expand out that stuff. It would be cool rules, whatever they come up with, though. We got Kevin-esque. Josh, last time I asked about ogres in 3rd edition AOS, any opinions yet, or still haven't caught up? I don't even think I've played them since the last time we talked. I tried to go through a bunch of different factions and play different stuff. Mixed Forces, Beastclaw Raider, and Gutbusters have become very interesting. Do you see the honest Wargamer reaction to ogres? Nope. I did not see his reaction. Interesting stuff, but especially lately, I don't have the time to sit down and watch or do anything. I guess the time that I would have is taken up by other things. If you haven't seen it, there's an absolutely hilarious list in there with Kragnos, Bundo, Stonehorn, Icebear Hunter with Frost Saber Battle Line. It's more intellectual list than it sounds. The interviewee, Stuart, is a friend of mine. Anyways, much love to you and Mini Wargaming. Thanks for making my free time so enjoyable, bro. Aw, I'm glad you enjoy the content. I don't know. If you have the chance to, send me the list. Because after I'm done filming this, I'm going to have to go do a bunch of other stuff. And I'm going to forget all about this, unfortunately. But if you email it to me, josh@miniwargaming.com, then I will remember it and take a look into that and see, because now I'm curious. You have my you have my curiosity here. You have my attention. Send me the list. I want to see. Kavuraki. Kavorakai. Hi, Josh. Hope all's well. Yep, didn't die. Still here. Last week I asked Matt about what each Mini Wargaming employee does at Mini Wargaming. He told us that you're going to step away a bit from filming battle reports since you manage events and guests coming in and such. Yeah, probably. So you'll see less of me. Unless something's going terribly wrong, then maybe you'll see more of me. How do you feel about it? And are you not going to be in any reports? Okay, so the reports are fun, but it's I'm going to enjoy the stuff I'm doing, and the reports I'm in will probably be somewhat more selective. I don't think we're at a point right now moving forward where we'd be able to cover the content without me filming to a degree. So as far as I know, I'll still be in reports every once in a while. It just will probably be less than it currently is, because I tend to be in a lot of them. I'm sure most of you are a little sick of me at this point. But yeah. I enjoy it, the filming, because of the extra step connection I get with the community. It's fun to play against the guys here, but whatever, I'm over that for a little while. I cannot film with them for a while, wouldn't miss it. And that's just because I get bored doing the same kind of thing over and over again. So, I'm excited to get the chance to play with guests and then, share that content with the community as a whole. Because I find that to be the most fun, rewarding part of this job. Personally, I love seeing you in battle reports with your personality. Yeah, it's always nice to have the heel show up. Somebody you don't feel bad about rooting against. I will do that for you. And love seeing you playing the Night Lords ever now. Yep. And then every now and then. So hope you'll not be in the shadows forever. Have a nice day. Well, thank you. That's very kind words. And yeah, they're a lot of fun to play. And hopefully you'll see a little bit of them every once in a while. I think I'm going to run into the point where I have way more armies than I do filming days. And will not know what I want to play. So you'll see me probably incompetently play, even more incompetently play random stuff every once in a while. But hey, I'll have fun doing that. My opponent will have fun playing against that, and hopefully you guys enjoy watching it. P.S. Last time I asked you something, you thought my name was a Greek dish. I said it sounded a lot like one. Almost, it's Greek for crab. Yeah, so it is. I was right this whole time. See? Crab boy. And last one here from Moonpoon. Josh. Hope all is well. Yeah. With your fam and your hounds. Just the Uno Houndo. But yes, all is well. With my family and the Doge. As a fellow Mod Tribes player, I was wondering what your opinion on what the new content of the new Ogre Mod Tribes book should contain. And if they get a centerpiece model, what would it be? Keep up the good work, my brother. Yeah, I mean, like, just little adjustments, tweaks here and there. As far as, like, a really cool centerpiece model. A new take on a Greasus Goldtooth, I think was his name, would be interesting. Doesn't have to be a straight revamp, but I think that was an interesting model you could do a lot with. Would make a cool centerpiece. And if not, okay, you know what actually would be cool? Oh, I don't know if they do it. So Stonehorns, big, shaggy kind of cave creatures. I want the bigger one. Give me some even gianter model. Even bigger cave creature thing. Something kind of prehistoric looking. Now you get me thinking about it. I want that. Give me that. A bigger, dumber monster. And then, yeah, just, tweaks to make sure that the playstyle, I think they're fine with the way they are AOS right now for the way I like to play. As far as a competitive sense, I got no idea. But I think it's a versatile, playable book that I'm still enjoying messing around with. But yeah, give me more big, dumb monster. Okay, so that's all of that taken care of. Let's jump over to. I didn't pay attention when I started filming this. I have no idea how long I am in. I usually go way over time. And we're gonna jump over to the YouTubes now. I'm gonna do my best to get through everything that makes sense. The YouTube's the worst for answering or asking questions on because like. This is where people usually leave discussions or talking about the stuff the previous person said. So I'll do my best. If I miss any, I apologize, but I'll do my best. Jake Dog, Josh, when you puppy coming in for a sit and talk? I want to see him on sit and talk. Much better looking than Collins. Yeah, he's a handsome looking dog. He's funny looking though, but like handsome, funny looking. He probably would enjoy it. Or hate it. I don't know. Maybe one way or another. Yeah, getting him in here would be tough. I don't know. Maybe I'll do a sit and talk from home one time, and I'll just sit on the floor with him, and we'll see what he does. Yeah, that could be fun. We'll just do the dog and talk. He's a good boy. About Stargrave videos, Plan 28, narrative campaign stuff. Yeah, the biggest thing is Rich McGee's kind of talking about stuff, and I'll kind of give the general. The bigger the name attached, the more successful the campaign is. And this being such a weird little niche industry, we generally speaking have to do the stuff that would make the most sense for the company, which is usually, narrative campaigns are a big thing that, a lot of people sign up for and a lot of Vault members really enjoy. Maybe one of these days Stargrave would make sense, but right now I don't know if it's got enough oomph behind it. So what we would have to do is convince, get Matt or Dave playing Stargrave a bunch and really liking it and getting inspired to do it. Because that's the one that's the thing that can really help, push something a lot farther. A lot of comments about GW stuff going on right now. So here, nobody asked, but here's my take on it. Whether or not you like what GW is doing right now, I mean, it's their IP. They're a big company that's easy to dislike, and on a very basic level, if you're not enjoying the game for whatever reason. So take 40, if you're a 40K player and you're not enjoying 40K because you don't like the way the game currently plays, you don't like the way the parent company is doing things, whatever variety of reasons, that's okay. That happens. And luckily, there's plenty of other game systems out there to play. Go play them. At the end of the day, if you don't like what Games Workshop's doing, I don't know, go play a different game system. It's simple as that. Vote with your hobby bucks, and find a system you enjoy playing for whatever reasons you enjoy playing it, and avoid the systems you don't like for whatever reasons you don't like playing them. And yeah, have fun. I get that. Patch Adams, Josh, you happy with having to play Nurgle now? I don't have to play them. I do it by choice. And yes, I find them fun enough. But like I mentioned earlier in the video, it's got to be the right time and the right opponent to do it against. But yeah, as far as the Chaos Armies, I like them. I like the Laser Rats more. I think they're neater. But yeah, I like playing Nurgle every once in a while. It's just more of I'm not in the mood to play Nurgle as much as some of the other armies. Oh, questions when the Imperial Guard Codex comes out for 9th. What kind of buffs would you like to see for the Imperial Guard? I don't have any specific hopes, because right now, a lot of the stuff they've done with the Codexes isn't the stuff that I would have guessed they would have done, but I'm pretty satisfied with a lot of it. So, hey, nothing too specific. I would like to see some more interesting list building options. I don't know if they're going to go down that route and it's just like, here's a bunch of stratagems. Give me some interesting list building options that would potentially unlock said stratagems, maybe, or maybe give me, I want it to feel like a well-oiled machine. That's how I want the army to play. I don't know. I can't properly, come up with the right words to describe what I'm trying to get at. This is not a test, yeah. Let's just say I might have bullied my way into that in one way or another. That's all I'll say about that. How did I get into wargaming? So, without giving you the whole super long story of it, high school, I crashed at one of my buddies' houses. He was a guy named John, I think. And there was a little local game store, ironically pretty close to where Mini Wargaming exists now. They went out of business years and years ago, though. So this would have been in high school. We went there. I always had an interest in this kind of stuff. Like I said, I grew up in a family that nobody liked this kind of stuff, so went over and bought a booster pack for a game called MechWarrior Dark Age by WizKids Games, and then got into playing that. Played that for a little while, and then that group of people I was playing with started getting into Warhammer, so I played a ton of Warhammer 3rd edition, and then played Warhammer 4th edition, and the love of the games just grew from there. But yeah, so I got into it by playing MechWarrior Dark Age, the Clicks game, by WizKids Games. So the way that worked is that if memory serves correct, you had your little mini that was worth points and all that, and then he was on a base that had numbers, and you could click it. So it's whenever you took damage, you had to click it that many clicks, and that was his new stats. Because I remember the Mech Warrior video games I played a little bit before, and so I thought that was really cool that there was this kind of a game. So yeah, it was a pre-painted one too, so it was a very easy entry into the game to be able to play fully. So yeah, had a lot of fun with that. Let's see what else there is. A lot about talking the GW stuff. Yeah, it's a big, a big topic right now, and I get why people are talking about it. But like I said, overall, if you don't like it, just go somewhere else. Quit giving them more publicity. I guess is kind of where I'm at. I think generally the community is aware of the things that they like and dislike about Games Workshop right now, and teach their own on that one. So, yeah, plenty of other game companies, guys, if you're not happy with what they're doing. Any chance more Kings of War? Not enough people around here playing. So there's always a chance, but not like a super high chance for the near future. But I mean, once we get more guests and people able to come in and the world kind of gets back to normal a little bit more, then yeah, hopefully. Brian plots. Hey Josh, Dragon's coming for the Stormcast. Will be a game changer. Maybe make Stormcast Eternals OP or at least a great army. Thanks for all the MWG content. Who knows, man? Like, it always feels like the new models are super powerful until they actually. It feels like I don't know. It feels like they release, like, here's their release rules, and then a month later, here's their real rules. So I don't know. Maybe it'll be super OP for a couple months, and then be brought back into line with everything else that's getting released. Who knows? They can be all over the place with different stuff when it comes to releases and all that. And yeah, I think that just about covers everything. So, a couple things to go over real quick. First and foremost, thank you so much for tuning in. Extra big thanks to everybody that left comments and questions, because if you guys don't, there's nothing for us to do or talk about. So the show entirely exists because of you folks leaving that stuff and your continued support. So remember that next week is going to be Luca. So make sure that he knows you are addressing him by paying him some lovely compliment. Tell Luca what you love about Luca so he can read it out so the entire internet can hear him say it. As per the request from the Sit and Talk, Brandon.
Hello.
What is best in life?
Just, gotta go out there and just give it your all. I don't know. Just, do you, man.
Wrong.
What?
You never watched Conan?
No, man. The only thing I've done in life is, beat Pokemon Red and Blue front to back.
Good job. I started laughing. And what else? What do you want to tell the people?
Just, just stay in school, just, work hard and just give her. Give her by the river.
Okay, I'm going to make you watch, you're going to watch Conan this weekend too.
All right,
so.
It's on my list.
And other than that, thanks for tuning in. Keep being awesome. And as always, happy wargaming.